Morning. My name is Chuck Ruth, and my pronouns are he and him. I have the joy of serving on your board of trustees. It is my pleasure to welcome you here this morning. If you're here for the first time, thank you for joining us. We look forward to getting to know you. We invite you to fill out one of the visitor forms that are in the pews. Each week, we remind ourselves of our congregation's core values: connection, transformation, justice, and acceptance. Our mission is to embody these core values in our daily lives by welcoming all, inspiring compassion, nurturing wonder, and serving community. Welcoming all means we work together to foster a culture of radical hospitality. Here in this community, we build relationships with people across boundaries of race, class, and other identities that divide us. This morning is Reverend Rogers' final Sunday worship service with us, ending his 3 years of ministry among us. After the service, we will have a special cake at Community Hour to honor this transition, and you'll be able to write a note of gratitude and goodbye if you wish to do so with provided cards. All are particularly invited to linger today after the service for these purposes. We are so glad you are here with us today. I invite those of you here in person to take a moment to greet one another.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome. Great to see you all here today. I'm Reverend Roger, and I use he, him pronouns. So we heard today already 3. So I've been here 3 years. Our chalice lighter this morning is Gwen, age 3. And one of my first memories of Gwen is being the baby Jesus, my first pageant. So let's join, Gwen's favorite colors are pink and yellow. Let's join in the chalice lighting words. We are Unitarian Universalists. This is the church of the open mind, the loving heart, the helping hands. We take care of the planet Earth and each other.
Hello. I'm Nina Brewer-Davis. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm your worship associate for today. Several years ago, I was one of the RE teachers for the Coming of Age class at Unity Temple. If you're not familiar with it, this is where the 9th graders meet all year to discuss and reflect on their own beliefs and some of the big questions of life. And then in April, they share this with the congregation in one of the really special services that we have each year. I co-taught it that year with Teresa Haight-Murray and Rob Belmar, and we were all parents of 9th graders at the same time who have all recently graduated, so I'm a little... 9th grade is a moment that we recognize our young people growing into their newly forming adult selves. It is a year of transition. One of the most meaningful activities we did that year was about values identification and reflection. You start by identifying 3 values that are the most important to you, like excellence or joy, health, connection, forgiveness, resourcefulness, or fairness. How do they show up in your life? Why did you choose these values? What about them is important to you? And then you think about your actions, your behaviors, and how you live your day-to-day life. What do you make time for? What do you put off? Where do you show up in the world and in yourself? Our actions point to the values that we live out, which can be very different from our responses to the first part. So this comes down to 2 questions. Who do you want to be? And who are you right now? Sitting with these questions together, and especially with the inevitable gap between who we want to be and who we are, it leads to some challenging and interesting discussions. And that has stayed with me ever since. And by the way, if you are interested in being an RE teacher, I'm sure that Val has some opportunities for you. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your life journey, wherever you are in the world, you are welcome here. Come, let us worship together. Please rise in body or spirit to sing our first hymn, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. The words are on the screen, and I believe Marty will be leading us.
Good morning, everyone. Sing it with me together, and 2 times. Then we'll split up into 2 parts. Here we go. And come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet and come, 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 whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan.
Please join in reading the words of our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this congregation.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Diana Coates, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a member of our spiritual care team. If you would like to talk with someone sometime about what's on your heart, we are here. And we're here either by phone or in person. So we are here to listen with you in both good times and difficult times. And I love that love is the doctrine of this congregation. And sharing your joys and sorrows with us each week is one of the ways that we embody this love. Those attending in person may sign their joys and sorrows outside the doors. You also may email your joys and sorrows to spiritualcare@unitytemple.org. Here are the joys and sorrows. I don't know who wrote this. My dear friend, Dr. Calvin, I'm going to mispronounce it, Meekins, passed away in his sleep on August 6th. He also was a doctor in Oak Park for nearly 50 years. Another anonymous, sorrow, difficulty communicating with my oldest daughter, very sad. So whoever you are not alone. There are others here, and I invite you to just say hello to somebody you've never said hello to, or someone you've always wanted to say hello to. And also Jackie I mispronounced names, excuse me. Kurza has had knee surgery, and she's home recovering. She would love calls, visits, emails, texts. She doesn't have a lot of family, so if you have it in your heart, I can give you the information, or anybody on the team. And a little drum roll, we have an 80th birthday in the house to our Carolyn Skipper. Yay! We know that some of you are holding joys and sorrows in silence, and we invite anyone who has a joy or a sorrow to come forward and drop a stone in the bowl located in 4 places in the church. We invite you to engage in the spiritual practice of silence, and let us begin.
I'm Reverend Emily Gage. My pronouns are she and her. I have words of prayer and meditation today from Connie Goodbread. Let us unite our hearts and minds in the spirit of prayer and meditation. May we, in times of despair, find hope. May we, in times of chaos, find clarity. May we, in times of hatred, find love. May we, in times of fear, find joy. Choosing joy is an act of loving defiance. Choosing love is an act of loving defiance. Choosing clarity is an act of loving defiance. Choosing hope is an act of loving defiance. May we know the love that holds us and surrounds us. May we know that we are part of that greater love. May we never succumb to divisions meant to isolate us, oppress us, and leave us hopeless. May we always draw the circle ever wider. May it be so. Amen. Blessed be.
If you are someone who likes to be close for a story, come on up. I see some from way up coming down. So I have a story about this story that I'll start with as people make their way down. So this is a book that is not yet published. It's not yet available. It will be in October. This is an advanced reading copy, an uncorrected proof, not for sale. But fortunately for me, it kind of was for sale by the author, or at least given by the author. And my dear colleague Emily was at a conference, and the author was part of a panel of authors who were writing books to present different ways of being for boys growing up than they had received as a kid. So for some reasons that may become obvious, Emily thought of me, and I'm going to share the book with you. Felix Finds His Polish. And the author is Eric Rosswood. Nathalia Takayama is the illustrator. Felix was thrilled when he heard the news. Today, a firefighter is going to teach us about fire safety. I would like each of you to paint a picture to welcome our special guest, said Mrs. Harper. Have you seen a firefighter come to school? Yeah, it happens. The students took out their art supplies and got to work. Felix looked around. Alex was painting a fire truck. Ella was painting a fire truck. Jesse was painting a fire truck too. Felix wanted to come up with something different, something special, something unique. Felix dipped his brush into the paint and slid it across the paper, creating a vibrant carpet of green grass. Next, he added a brave firefighter spraying a burning building. Then he painted a heroic Dalmatian. And finally, he added a cheerful blue sky. Felix admired his work of art. Even though he had finished the picture, he didn't want to stop. What else could he paint? Looking down, he noticed a few splashes of color on his hand, and that gave him an idea. He took his paintbrush and coated each fingernail. Red, like a delicious ripe strawberry. Orange, like a glowing jack-o'-lantern. Yellow, like a blazing hot sun. Felix loved his bright new nails, but he wondered what everyone else would think. Would the other kids laugh at him? Would Mrs. Harper be upset that he painted off the paper? Felix wanted to run to the bathroom and wash his hands, but it was too late. The firefighter was here instead. He lowered his head and hid his hands in his pockets. "Hello, everyone," the firefighter said. "My name is Captain Odin." Captain Odin explained the importance of having an escape plan for their house in case of an emergency. He taught the class how to crawl close to the ground if the room was filled with smoke, and how to stop, drop, and roll if their clothes ever caught fire. Everyone clapped when the presentation was over. Everyone except Felix. He kept his hands in his pockets. "Now it's time to show Captain Odin our masterpiece," said Mrs. Harper. One by one, his classmates got up to talk about their paintings. Felix's stomach flip-flopped as he thought about having to present in front of the class. How could he keep his fingernails hidden? When it was his turn, Felix held his painting up with his chin. I made a firefighter putting out a fire. "Why don't you hold your artwork with your hands instead of your chin?" said Mrs. Harper. "We can't hear you when you're talking to the floor." Felix slowly took his hands out of his pocket and hid his face behind the picture. His fingers trembled. "Look at his nails," Alex pointed. Ella said, "That's so awesome." "His fingernails look like flames on the building," said Jesse. Felix looked at his picture. They were right. When he wiggled his fingertips, it looked like the fire was flickering. "You have created something different," Captain Odin said. "Something special, something unique. Felix, you have made yourself a work of art." Felix's classmates started to paint their own nails. "Look, my nails are blue like the ocean. Mine are green like the monster." The green monster, maybe? Anyway. "Mine are pink, like cotton candy. Mine are black, like my coat. My cat, rather. Mine are purple, like a flower." When the visit was over, the students lined up to go inside the fire truck. Captain Odin pulled off his gloves to open the door, and that's when everyone noticed. His fingernails were painted fire engine red. And then there's instructions how to do that. And what's more about this gift is that Eric, the author, wrote, "Roger, thanks for all you do. Happy painting." And yeah. So when Nina talked about the question of who are you and who do you want to be, I am answering that question differently. I'm becoming somebody different than I was able to answer as a kid. And it's very, very cool. We all want to be ourselves, right? Yeah. We're all works of art. All right, you can go to Unity House. Thanks, Emily. Open to learning, may your Lord's be.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's wonderful to be here with you in community today. Each week, Unity Temple splits the offering evenly. One half supports the programs and mission of our congregation. This week, the other half goes to Race Conscious Dialogues, a nonprofit Oak Park organization just over on Euclid Avenue. I would like to share the following statement from the executive director. Our primary core belief is that internal work informs external impact. As we continually take responsibility for our own education and engage in doing so, we stand with those experiencing oppression. Race-conscious dialogue works to build race-conscious relationships, as well as race-conscious programs, policies, procedures, and communities. Registration is currently open for their fall workshops. Those of us who have taken their workshops highly recommend them. You can visit raceconsciousdialogues.com for more information. May we be transformed by our giving, and may the world be transformed by our gifts. Thank you.
Once upon a time, there was a Unitarian congregation that needed a new building. It hired a famous architect connected to the congregation to design its new home. When the new building was completed, a legendary professor and congregation member was invited to give the sermon at the dedication service. The preacher titled the sermon, "To Own or Be Owned." So, one of the interesting things about the dedication sermon is that while the preacher acknowledged the beauty and power of the new building, he never mentioned the architect by name. If the architect, who was known to be quite arrogant, was there, I can imagine him bristling at being referred to through the whole thing as the architect. The building, the preacher proclaimed, is the architect's work of art, not the congregation's work of art. And his sermon was about the congregation's art, not the building. So the preacher spelled out his thesis early in the sermon. No amount of acclaim will make the admired structure our own, he said. To become ours, it must bring enrichment from within to the religious cause which our congregation exists to serve. Caught up in our aspiration and thought and action, the architect's work of art has to be absorbed into the art of the congregation's life. So the preacher's meaning was that even as the new structure will undoubtedly be revered as an architectural landmark, the congregation will only be a religious landmark if it fulfills its mission. On its own, a building cannot make a congregation succeed. A building is but a tool that can help a congregation fulfill its mission. So the preacher had 4 charges to the congregation that day. First, he charged the congregation to be a community that integrates thought and feeling. A towering intellect, he understood that emotion is also important in living a religious life. Yes, he declared, Our Unitarianism is, in a special sense, a thinking religion, but it must also be a religion of feeling. He blasted some Unitarian congregations which feel lukewarm. In such congregations, the people think it improper to feel deeply about anything, and scathingly, he did a riff on little Jack Horner. They sit in their individualistic corner, enjoy the good things provided by their fellows in the past and in the present, put in their thumb, pull out a plum, and say, "What a smart boy am I." So, related to this need for emotion, the preacher also lifted up laughter. Yes, there's a lot to be done in the world to make this world a better, more just place. This is serious business. But, he said, there has to be space for laughter. He asked, can there be any doubt the air would be electric with new hope if a few people who are dominated by a sense of world mission could get over taking things in general and themselves in particular so constantly with deadly seriousness? Make space for laughter. What a great thing to say at a building dedication. So the second charge is that just as intellect and feeling, along with a healthy dose of laughter, need to be integrated into the life of the congregation, the preacher also urged the congregation to bring together the inner work of spiritual growth and the external work of justice. Unless there is tangible action to increase the well-being of others beyond the church, the preacher declared that stone and glass and wood, expertly contrived for our group home, will remain religiously empty. In this vein, he specifically lifted up the work of racial justice. He wanted the congregation to boldly demand everyone's legitimate place in the human family. So I love how he tied together getting past these dualisms of intellect versus emotion, interior spiritual journey versus exterior social activism. He did this in a single sentence when he said, we Unitarians could stand a little more religious warmth and a little unbecoming social passion. Third, the preacher called for the congregation to embrace a working partnership between science and religion. He asserted that religious liberalism was uniquely positioned to bring together the religious spirit and the spirit of scientific investigation. He said religion must use its emphasis on values, ethics, and meaning to help make decisions about technology and other uses of science. And the fourth way he said a congregation can make a building its own is education. The preacher wanted the congregation to be a strong advocate for education. Although he didn't say it, I suspect he wanted the congregation to provide a strong religious education program for children, youth, and adults. So the congregation, the preacher said, needs to own its mission. It needs not to be owned by the building, regardless of how beautiful the building looks and works. What ultimately matters is the work of art the congregation creates for its members and for the world beyond. Well, friends, this is a true story. The architect's name was Frank Lloyd Wright. I'm sure many of you know that the congregation was First Unitarian Society of Madison, Wisconsin. Yes, indeed. The preacher was Max Otto. He was a renowned professor at the University of Wisconsin, professor of philosophy. He was a signer of the Humanist Manifesto in the 1930s. So Frank Lloyd Wright designed First Unitarian Society nearly 50 years after designing this building. So coming from early in his career toward the end of his career, The two buildings are remarkable manifestations of his art. And as striking as First Unitarian Society is, I see why Unity Temple is generally regarded as more exquisite and more impactful on architecture, especially the design of religious buildings. I'm sure that people who first viewed First Unitarian Society in 1955 in Madison thought, wow. I am guessing that people who first viewed this building thought, wow, and what the heck? I find it really illuminating to stand out on the corner there, Kenilworth and Lake, and look at this building and look across the street at First United, which was opened about 8 years after this building. That's what churches look like, not this. It was a revolution in church architecture, a pivotal point. This sermon, though, is not a "this building is terrible for you" sermon. It's a sermon that says, regardless of a congregation's physical home, what really matters is the congregation's mission. How is the congregation making a difference in the world? So the mission of Unity Temple is welcoming all, inspiring compassion, nurturing wonder, and serving community. What a worthy mission. The question to keep asking is, to what extent are we fulfilling the mission? To borrow and tweak James Carville's kind of crass statement from Bill Clinton's successful '92 presidential campaign, it's the economy, stupid. It's the mission, stupid. So regarding its physical home, whether it is a converted school, like the congregation I'm going to next, or a former moose lodge, like the congregation I served in Appleton, or a UNESCO World Heritage Site, or rented space, the questions are, is the building helping us serve our mission? If not, what can we do to change the status quo? These are questions that every congregation in its own way wrestles with. And wrestling with these questions is nothing new at Unity Temple. Your board of trustees is devoting a lot of time and energy to these questions, as it has over the years, and the board looks forward to engaging with the congregation this fall around these questions. Figuring these questions out is one of the keys to the developmental ministry goal of sustainability in finances. And this is the goal that really is going to keep needing work even as the developmental ministry period ends. So Reverend Emily, like me during the past 3 years, will be an important thought partner with the board in this exploration. Director of Finance and Operations, Saba Rostanovic, is working hard on this exploration too, but ultimately it is not Reverend Emily. It is not Saba who will make decisions. It is the board in consultation with you, the congregation, the source of ultimate authority for a congregation. Well, I think it's helpful to think about ministers in a similar way to buildings. How do ministers help a congregation fulfill its mission? Regardless of whether we're a lead minister or an associate minister or an assistant minister, that question is always at the center of what we do in congregational ministry. So what a blessing for you to have Reverend Emily move into the lead role, having been here for 18 years. She obviously finds resonance with the mission, or she would have been long gone. And this transition offers so much continuity for the congregation. I also want to say, though, it contains change. The congregation will be different after my departure. It'll be different when a new minister arrives down the line to work with Reverend Emily. And Reverend Emily will be different as she assumes a new role with you. Reverend Emily, all of you will continue evolving and growing. And so this is a beautiful moment of continuity and change. So ministerial transition is not like changing out a refrigerator. You know, you pull out the old refrigerator, send it to recycling or Michigan or whatever, and then you plug in the new one. Voila! Sometimes new ministries are celebrated as installations, which I've always thought was an unfortunate word because it does conjure up for me installing an appliance. So when a congregation sees ministers as more or less interchangeable, they sometimes ding a new minister for doing things differently than the departed minister did. Too often, they expect a new minister to fit the mold of the former minister, to be just like them, to do the same things they did in the same way. And the truth is that all of us ministers strive to do things in ways that work best for us and our skill set, which helps a congregation fulfill its mission. It doesn't make sense for a congregation to expect a minister to do things in a way that is not authentic to them, effective for them. So this is all to say, Emily is not me. I'm reminded of the Hasidic master Zusha's saying that when he got to heaven, God would not judge him by comparing how he measured up to Moses or Abraham. God would ask whether Zusha had been the best Zusha he could be. So the task for Reverend Emily isn't to do things as I did or another previous minister here did, but to be the best Reverend Emily, lead minister of Unity Temple, she can be. And so I am excited for Reverend Emily, for all of you. You've weathered a lot of hard stuff. You have done a lot of hard work. You've learned from what's happened that wasn't so great. My ministry with you has always been focused on the next chapter for Unity Temple. My ministry has been about how could we together create conditions for this next ministry and this next chapter of Unity Temple to be wonderful, to be beautiful, to flourish. So my charge to you is just get to it. And as you do, please rest assured that you have my undying gratitude for giving me the honor of serving you, for encouraging me to be the best Reverend Roger I could be. I have learned a lot from you that I will take with me. And though I will be somewhere else and will no longer be your minister, I will always carry you in my mind and in my heart with great joy. I love you. Charlie and Lisa, come on up.
Today, we gently and perhaps not so gently release each other from the minister congregation relationship that we've had for the past 3 years. Members and friends of the congregation, children, youth, and adults, I invite you to join in the responsive ritual of release. Please join in reading the congregation words. Roger, you have moved us through it in the past 3 years. You have been a part of our lives and a life of our wider community. We thank you for doing your best to fulfill the covenant you made with us.
Likewise, friends, you have walked with this journey with me, giving your hearts and minds, your hands and spirits to the work of this beloved community. You have trusted me with your lives. We have worked together side by side generously with faith, hope, and love. We have taught each other and learned much together.
We send you on your way with our blessing, honoring your many gifts to us.
I have held as a sacred trust the privilege of serving and speaking to you from this pulpit. Serving this congregation as developmental lead minister has been an awesome privilege and responsibility. I hereby return this sacred trust to you for the safekeeping of the congregation. May you give it well into the hands of Reverend Emily and future ministers to come, along with your hearts and minds, which you have so generously shared with me. By these words, with the utmost gratitude, I end my covenant with you, and I gratefully release you from your responsibilities to me.
I think that's it.
That's it.
It's almost it. It's almost it.
Almost it.
Technology. Thank you. Get close. Roger, when you included a dash of humor in the message for all ages 2 weeks ago, I recalled your whiskey tasting auction offerings, sermons that spoke of the Green Bay Packers, and how I chuckled the first time I noticed your colorful toenails. We are grateful for our time together, and may these gifts from our congregation bring you joy. Thanks, Roger.
Thank you. In case it wasn't obvious, nail polish, whiskey, which I kind of quickly have to see. Oh, amazing. It's Indri, it's an Indian single malt, which seriously has been on my list for about 7 years and I never got. So, and I did not share that information, so well done, friends. Let me just say a word of gratitude in particular, well, for all of you, children, youth, adults of the congregation, a word of gratitude especially for the staff who are so dedicated to this place and I've so enjoyed working with. and to the boards that I worked with, and especially the board leaders during these past 3 years. It is so great to have felt like there were partners in this good work. So, again, lots of gratitude, and let us join together in singing our closing hymn, number 128, For All That Is Our Life. The closing words are words of Gaelic blessing. Deep peace of the running wave to you, deep peace of the flowing air to you, deep peace of the quiet earth to you, deep peace of the shining stars to you, deep peace of the gentle night to you. Deep peace.